all but one vessel in the Global Sumud Flotilla, as confirmed by both the organizers of the humanitarian mission and the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Israel maintains that its blockade of Gaza is lawful and that the activists detained, which include climate activist Greta Thunberg, former Barcelona mayor Ada Colau, and member of European Parliament Rima Hassan, would be deported to their countries of citizenship after the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur concludes on Thursday. The one ship out of the 47-strong flotilla still sailing, the Marinette, has reportedly been lagging behind the larger flotilla due to mechanical issues. The last update from the organizers placed it some 80 nautical miles away from the Gaza's coast. This comes as Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has called for the repatriation of the 7 Mexican citizens now in Israeli custody. Let's listen in.
Están detenidos en el puerto, aún no los llevan al centro de detención. Ayer fueron 2 notas diplomáticas que se enviaron para exigir que de inmediato que los liberen. No tienen por qué están detenidos, no han cometido ningún delito y que sean entregados a las autoridades mexicanas para su repatriación y exigir que llegue la ayuda humanitaria y que se detenga este acoso en contra.
The coordinator of legal team supporting Gaza Flotilla has said that communications have been lost with all boats remaining in the Gaza-bound flotilla. Now, for this discussion, we're joined by Dr. Punsara Amarasinghe, Kotalawala Defense University, joining us live from Colombo. Thank you very much, Dr. Amarasinghe, for joining us. Good to see you. Now, what's your reaction towards this flotillas being intercepted, or most of them being already intercepted by Israel, and what do you think will be the next?
I think the next step would be absolutely decisive, because this flotilla has already created a huge, wider public perception around the world. You can see that a lot of humanitarian activists and international NGOs and UN activists have come forward in favor of providing food and the necessary things for the people in Gaza. And Israelis' interception can be taken as quite a defensive approach, because Israel doesn't want international community to penetrate into their defensive line. But these interceptions simply contains consequences. There can be 2 major consequences. As well, I think you are already aware of the fact that at the moment there is a huge anti-Israeli sentiments are going on around the world, right? The streets are being taken over by the anti-Israeli protesters. So this could simply trigger these events at unprecedented level, paving the path for more and more anti-Israeli activities. Well, at the moment it has already started to happen across Europe. So this is the one major reaction. And secondly, well, since Netanyahu's speech in the United Nations, you can see like some of the countries followed by United Kingdom, France, and so on, so have already recognized the Palestinian statehood. And this act can bolster further action stemming from the global north. So I would say that from a strategic point of view, it contains repercussions beyond doubt.
And Professor, building on that, what were the key objectives of this Global Sumud Flotilla? Do you think they have achieved their objectives?
Well, we need to simply understand this flotilla has not accomplished any of these objectives except pressurizing the pressure group through the pressure groups. This has created kind of a soft power. But you see, you need, if you look at the ground reality, what is happening between Israel and Hamas. Israel expects only one thing: bring our hostages back, right? If you bring the hostages back, we would step back. So that has been the very much clear and precise message coming from Israel. So flotilla is kind of a, it's a soft bargaining, and their objective is to feed the people in Gaza, continue the humanitarian operation, and stop the military offensive against the Hamas terrorists. So this flotilla has not, to be very honest, it has not accomplished whatever the objectives it posed to be.
And Professor, now we know that there are some significant people, or like Greta Thunberg also, who's now under maybe Israel's, maybe in Israel for now. So how do you think these kind of big names in these kind of flotillas and these movements change the perspective of people worldwide?
If you clearly observe what was going on for past few months around the world, it is a question beyond conjuncture. The major activists, mainly from the liberal West, I would say, right, have come forward along with a lot of anti-war, or rather anti-Israel, the slogans, watchwords, and this flotilla. And even if you simply observe the people who take part in this flotilla, right, it clearly manifests, it clearly demonstrates that. So their slogans are very much aligned with humanitarian operations. Of course, I do acknowledge what you are arguing. It gives a great leverage against Netanyahu's military operations in Gaza, but it doesn't add any more brick beyond that point. So that is something simply evident. You can find activists, you can find global personalities on flotilla, you can find people across the countries marching against Israel. But can they really stop the military offensive? So that is the question we need to address. That these kind of campaigns will not lead to any feasible solution until and unless Hamas releases hostages. That has been the simple, firm stances from Jerusalem.
And now looking at Israel, how do you think, how does Israel justify its blockade of Gaza? And what about the condemnation that's increasing, or international criticisms that's increasing around the world about Israel?
Well, I'm just wondering whether you have listened to Prime Minister Netanyahu's speech in the UN, right? When half of the world leaders and the delegates walked away from the UN General Assembly, he clearly made his stances, indicating the fact that Israel's military operation will not come to its very end until they bring back the final hostage from the captivity of Hamas. Yes, of course, there are two war fronts at the moment. One is a war front in Gaza, second one is a narrative war, right? I'm pretty sure even though Israelis are winning the first front, Israelis are losing in the second front, because we have very much dominant narratives, the false campaigns, very high perceptions standing against state of Israel. I'm not going to advocate for Israel, but I just want to present to you the truth, the naked truth as it is. Yes, I do understand. Israelis are grappling with heavy pressure, a tremendous amount of international pressure, and one may ask that on what ground that they can invade Gaza, because in 2005 simply Gaza was abandoned by the Israelis, and Hamas simply took over Gaza Strip from PLO. But we have to understand who triggered this entire conflict. Where are we going from now onwards? These are the questions that one needs to simply understand. And also, I must not forget to mention, there is an internal pressure even emanating within Israel. I mean, if you just go to the hostages choir in Tel Aviv, you can see every weekend the hostages choir is filled with the parents and the beloveds and, the friends of those who are in Hamas captivity, pressurizing Netanyahu's government to do something beyond military measures. So I'm pretty sure that, a lot of critical days are ahead of us.
Yes, indeed, we'll be eyeing on that. Thank you very much, Dr. Pansara Amarasinghe Kotawala,